Hello, my name is Jim Heal and I'm currently Head of Upper School at Wellington College, just outside London here in the UK, where I've worked for the last 6 years. Prior to that, I worked at Eastbourne College down on the south coast of England as an English teacher for 3 years. I was trained at King's College London and have also worked in educational contexts in Spain and the USA. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about my educational philosophy and where my passions lie with regards to education and leadership. Having spent the last 10 years as an English teacher and the last 4 as a head of upper school, I feel my appreciation of the role of leadership in schools has altered and evolved considerably over time. The challenge of effective leadership in education is a shifting one, and yet there are constants that have repeatedly fostered interest throughout my career. One of these is to better understand how schools can become more democratised. By this, I mean schools as places where students understand how their voices and choices matter, as places where the ways students learn is a pedagogical expression of this democracy, and as places where the systems that underpin the organisation of the school are aligned with its shared democratic values, with classroom practice serving as the most articulate expression of these goals. A concrete example of what I mean is the work I've done to explore the efficacy of a pedagogy known as Harkness. Now, this dialogic approach to learning recognises students as the drivers of their own learning, with the teacher acting more as facilitator or custodian of the process of learning, rather than the font of all knowledge to whom all students should defer. I've already conducted research into its efficacy in pedagogical terms, and I've identified that students tend to show more resilience and responsibility in their learning as a result of the approach. Now, this work has left me increasingly interested in the following kinds of questions when it comes to school leadership in particular. Firstly, what would happen if we applied the values of this style of learning to the overarching systems of leadership and governance of a school? In other words, if a school were to run its teams, be that departmental, senior leadership or governors, in the same way that it conducted its Harkness lessons, how would this impact on the decision-making process? If daily pedagogical practices, born in this case out of a democratised student-led model, but in other instances could be other types of pedagogies, were extrapolated to the point that they define the way the school operates on a macro level, what would be the effects? Now, this intentional yoking of the teaching and learning framework of a school to its leadership philosophy is reinforced by my dedication to research-based practice. In a synthesis of over 800 meta-analyses relating to school achievement in his book Visible Learning, John Hattie concluded that one of the principal tenets of a successful school is one where students present approaches to learning traditionally associated with outstanding teachers, and teachers present approaches to learning traditionally associated with outstanding students. With the latter in mind, I am interested in schools that invite their teachers to continue in the spirit of learning and professional inquiry throughout their career, ideally through the undertaking of action research. I would like to work in an environment that isn't afraid to respond to a good idea with the statement, "That looks great, and I'm happy to give you my full support, but only if you can show to me that it works." The role of effective research has too long been the preserve of universities, with schools dealing in practice alone and relying, frankly, on village wisdom as their best bet for what adds value. I think this is wrong, and this dislocated Venn diagram between theory and practice needs to be united, and it's the role of what we might call the research school to do just that. Upon completing the school leadership programme at Harvard, I would like to endeavour to complete a doctorate in school leadership with a focus on what I've described to you today. This would, I hope, happen in parallel with a move into senior leadership within a school, with a focus ideally on teaching and learning. I would then like to lead a school myself, either as principal or founder and principal. I would love to end up running a school that has the quality of a laboratory for better education, with students and faculty working on the same democratised plane in the pursuit of a better way to live, and learn. In the meantime, I would love to work in a school that has a culture of innovation present and resonant with what I have articulated above. As for my own approaches to learning, I definitely work best when part of a dedicated team, striving towards a common goal. As mentioned before, a lab culture of developing new approaches to teaching, learning and leading whilst exploring their efficacy is definitely one that appeals. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my take on education and school leadership, and I look forward, hopefully, to one day meeting and working together as part of the school leadership programme at Harvard Graduate School of Education. Thank you.